This is just a quick review of the Diamond CP6-S antenna. We've currently got this, that is at its lowest point at around 6 meters. We've got the optional voice coil for 80 meters, which comes with a different top section, and we've got them fitted. So that's the current height of the antenna. And that's with the mast all the way down, and I'll just wind it all the way up, give you an idea of how high it goes up when it's up at 12 meters. Right, so this is the mast at full extent. So it's 12 meters to the base of the antenna, and it is a fantastic mast system. This takes next to no time to wind it up or winch it over. But let's get to radio and see how it performs. And as you can see, this is the SWR coverage on 80, where we've got it spot tuned. This is without the antenna tuner in line. And if I put the tuner in line, let's just get off of SWR. And then if we go back to SWR, so it brings it down to easily usable, and for an extremely small antenna, I think it's fantastic that it does actually work on 80. But let's move up on to 40. So here you can see the SWR coverage, and that is with no tuner in line. So it's considerably wider on 40 meters. If we put the tuner in line, if I run this again, and then just to show you that it will tune up even when it's quite far out of its range. So if we move to the top end of the band, and then we run the antenna tuner again, so as you can see, easily usable. That will tune pretty much anywhere on 40 meters. So if we move it just off the data band, and as you can see, that's tuned up absolutely fine. So as long as you've got a reasonable tuner, you can use it pretty much anywhere on 40. So let's move up to 20 meters. Right, so if we start off on 20 meter band, in the center of the band, and no tuner in line, so let's have a look what the SWR coverage is. And again, same as we found on 40, it's tuned more for the voice band, which is how I've got the antenna set up. We've got incredibly low SWR over most of the voice band. If we just look, so it just starts climbing towards the outer reaches at band, but again, if we run the tuner, it will tune the antenna over pretty much the entire of 20 meters. So let's move up to the next one. Right, so let's have a look what SWR coverage we've got on here. It should be tuned to voice again. And again, if we move to the outer reaches of where it's not tuned, so we're just starting to get to its limits. And then if we try the tuner again, and as you can see, ATUs had no problems tuning that. Let's have a look how it's tuned on here. So again, tuned to the higher part of the band. So let's start at, let's see if we can drop down to around 28. So if we try it at 28,400, see if it'll tune. And again, no problems tuning whatsoever. And just for completeness, let's try it up on 6 meters or 50 megahertz. So very low SWR on that portion. Drop it all the way down to the bottom. I've got extremely low SWR pretty much all the way through. Extremely low there. So pretty much the entire of 6 meters is usable without the ATU. So let's see if we can see how it performs. So just having a quick scout around the band, and 20 meters is currently open, so 14 megahertz. And as you see, we're getting quite a few really strong signals. You'll have to ignore the interference I'm getting at split intervals through the band, but somebody's plugged something in my local neighbourhood that seems to splatter any antenna I try. But I have made quite a few contacts all over Europe with this since we put it up. And certainly the receive and transmit seems to work fantastic. Anybody that I've managed to hear, I've managed to get back to them. Which certainly wasn't the case when I was using the HF360. I could hear people, I just couldn't get back to them. So for build quality wise, I would say the CP6 is exceptionally well made. Don't forget, when you're building it, you put the drain holes on the coils to the bottom so they don't fill up with water and short your coil out or rot it. Don't over tighten any of the tiny little screws. They're just there to stop it falling apart. They don't need to be tightened down that hard. Coax wise, just fed it with just some normal coax that I had kicking about, nothing special, nothing incredibly low loss. I've been making contacts all over Europe so far, all on 50 watts that I'm permitted to use on my license. It does work on every one of the bands that it says it works on, and I'm getting slightly wider coverage than what it's advertised as for the SWR on each band. So the Swar coverage is slightly wider than what it says, but if you have got a tuner, it will tune up pretty much on the entire band, on every band apart from 80 meters, which for such a short antenna I wouldn't expect it to tune on 80. Yeah, they're not cheap, and another interesting alternative would be a multi-band end-fed wire, but depending on the amount of space you've got and the area you've got, it's not always possible to get an end-fed wire up. But hopefully this gives you a bit more information, because I tried looking for some when I was looking for this antenna and couldn't find anything to tell you how the SWR worked, how it worked on receive, what it were like on transmit. Like I say, I've made quite a few contacts just in the short week or so I've had this up. So yeah, if you're struggling for space and you want to get on HF, it will give you the 6 bands as advertised. It will let you transmit on 80. You don't get a hugely wide coverage. You can use an ATU to get slightly more. Your power limitations, I believe, are around 100 or 150 watt on SSB, and if you're on AM/FM, I believe it's rated at 70 watt. So yeah, nice antenna, nice and tidy, pretty well built, very easy to set up. The elements, I haven't changed anything from the basic, what it tells you to measure them to in the instructions. So you can more than happily tune away and move the SWR coverage for each band. Each band doesn't affect the other. And when I fitted the 80 meter voice coil kit to bring it up into the voice spot of 80 meters, didn't affect the other bands at all. So hopefully you find that useful.